Yo, welcome back to another edition of the Cruising Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Cruz, and today is January 22nd. Woo! Monday. Just in case y'all didn't hear the opening intro, I don't know what's going on. Hold on, my connection looks like it's messing up right now. Oh, okay. Whoa, hold on, we're getting there. Okay, this is what it is. Where you can find the Cruising Podcast is on Apple. Shit, what the fuck? Let me redo this. Yo! Welcome back to another edition of the Cruising Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Cruz, and today is January 22nd, 2024, Monday. Yo, so where you can find the Cruising Podcast is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Patreon, YouTube, and anywhere else you can find podcasts. That's where you can find the Cruising Podcast. Also, where you can find the latest episodes of the show is on Instagram at Cruising Podcast, also on Twitter at Nicetown Finest. I don't know what's happening right now. My Wi-Fi is going in and out. Sorry, we've been having some weird weather going on today. I mean, weird weather all week, last week and this week. So if the podcast sounds a little weird, I'm gonna make sure we gotta figure it out. I don't know. But this episode, as you guys can see, is called Run the Hood, but not the hood that you're thinking. All right, y'all need to calm. Just stay calm. I'm gonna feed y'all. You know what I'm saying? I got a little. You know, I'm gonna feed the baby birds, man. I got y'all, man. All right, and first, I have to say, can I just say, all right? So, can I just say, Andrew Fung from the Kimchi on Kim's Convenience, and also he's the lead in Run the Burbs. Hold on. Oh my gosh. I used to remember Andrew. Damn, his name is Andrew in Run the Burbs. Duh. Andrew Fung and Andrew Pham actually in Run the Burbs. Let me tell y'all something, man. That show is fucking hilarious. First of all, secondly, Andrew Fung has to be one of the coolest named comedians right now that have ran across so far. For real, like anytime you shout, every time I've shouted out something that he's in, he has definitely responded. Like he's responded very nicely. Like this, just on X alone, I put it on. I put my whole little thing on X, and he commented it. And, you know what I mean? He's like, man, thank you. You know, I appreciate you watching the show, blah blah blah. And then at the end of it, he's like, happy belated birthday to your dad. And I'm like, bro, you didn't have to say that. You didn't have to say that. And you took your time out of your day to do that. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's cool. That's cool as shit. And I hope I can be that type of person for others, man. Just be that guy. Like, man, you said what you got going on? Okay, cool. I'm gonna talk to you about your I'm gonna see like, all right, I'm gonna look on your page. Oh, so you had some event going on. Boom, here you go. And let me tell you something nice about you, man. Because like you said, something nice about me. That's how we're supposed to do things, man. We're supposed to be congratulatory and generous to other people, to other humans. That's just the way it's supposed to work. And it really genuinely made me happy to see that, man. Like he's such a cool person. I'm glad I support his work, man. And also his work is really good. Like if you guys haven't watched Warren the Burbs yet on Hulu, that was the best decision that they could have did with that show. I'm glad they didn't put it on Netflix because I refuse to watch Netflix. I watched right now. I can't really connect to Netflix at this point, but it is what it is. But yeah, man, seeing him on Kim's Convenience for sure. He was one of the funnier characters, of course. But seeing him on this show, I would like to say this: if you guys have ever watched Kim Convenience and seen his character Kimchi on the show, to me, this show really exemplifies like if Kimchi had a family, had a mixed flavored family. Because in the show, Andrew Pham is married to an Indian woman. You know what I'm saying? Actually, have they really established what they are? Maybe. I don't think they established that. But what I'm saying is that this show really exemplifies representation. You know what I'm saying? He does different representative he is Vietnam, of course. Of course his wife Indian culture. Then his next door neighbor or like his best friend is Jamaican. And so, like, you see the different representation without this show, just in their neighborhood that's in Canada. This, to me, this is fucking awesome. It's awesome to watch. It's awesome to hear. It's just, and then also it's actually really funny. And they talk about life lessons, and they talk about a lot of things that are they could be a serious subject. They had a whole show for Candy, who passed away while during the first season. Even brought in her daughter. You know what I'm saying, to be part of the show. To me, it was amazing. I like, it's hilarious. It's 2 seasons. Right now I think season 3 comes out next month on Hulu. Definitely make sure you guys check that out. I like I said, I know you guys, I don't recommend anything like anything just willy-nilly and things like that. But this show right here, man, he I would like to say this. He definitely has made it fun again to watch a family sitcom show. Like, we don't get it. We don't have too many of those anymore. I like to have the TV dad. Like, he's the new style TV dad. And what's cool is that, like, him and his wife have like this perfect mesh between each other, where they're kind of like the nerdy couple where they do funny dance, they do pop lock dances, and they're dancing, what I mean, but you can feel the love. What I mean, that, like, this is TV love right here. This is, marriage that most people want to see. Like, they're having fun. Like, some days they might lie to each other, man. Some days they might do something stupid. It is what it is. There is a conundrum in every episode, and I love that they bring it, and it's real. It feels like a real family drama. It feels like a real, not drama. It feels like a real family comedy. Like, it's a real family that's dealing with real things. Like, his wife wants to be a social media like a social media cook, which is cool. That's awesome. A lot of people, a lot of people don't want to try. A lot of people don't chase their dreams, and then he wants to actually better his community. You know what I'm saying? That's, yeah. Who doesn't? I mean, like, that, it's the cool. I'm sorry, man. I love this show. I love it now. I love it even more. Also, like, Andrew was on the show called Laugh Out Loud, last one standing or something like that. Last one to laugh or some shit. It was hilarious. I love that show. I loved it because they had every, like, famous comedian from Canada. Some of them I didn't even know they were from Canada. I'm sitting here watching. I'm like, oh, I didn't know you were from Canada. That guy, I always forget Tom Green is Canadian. I always forget. I don't know why. I don't know why I always forget that. But Tom Green's Canadian. But, like, dude, when, like, just to know the legendary status, and then you put Andrew Fung in there, and what was funny about him was one of the bits that he did was he jumped out of the locker room with, like, a saxophone, started playing it terribly, trying to get people to laugh. And yeah, you couldn't laugh. I think, what was it, 3 times? I think 3 strikes you were out with the laugh, or 2. Might have been 2. Either or. This, like, like I said, man, Run the Burbs. If you guys have not watched it yet, and you're looking for, like, a family fun show, that's it. And it's also a little it does have a little, like, it's not, I think they say fuck on there. It was like one episode where they say that. But overall, man, show is it's a fun show to watch, man. I can't love it even more, man. It's just such a fun show. So and also representation with LGBTQIA people, those their representation there is on there also, which is, they really hit every corner of culture that you can touch in a TV show. Like, I enjoyed it. I'm like, I'm sorry. I know I'm going to beat on this drum a little bit, especially with Warrior coming out next month. It's going to be great. But yeah, man, I just wanted to shout him out too, man, because he's a cool person. He's coming. I'm getting him on the show. We're locking that down. I'm just putting it out there. We're locking that down. I feel like, yeah, man, I gotta get him on the show, man. Now he's part of the dream list. You're part of the dream list now, Andrew Fung. So I'm sorry, man. You're part of it. You know what I mean? If you don't want to be part of it, that's cool. But you're part of the list right now, my boy. But and also, he's a big sneakerhead too. So I would love to have that conversation with him. Me, I am not a sneakerhead, as you guys probably can see behind me. I got a lot of sneakers behind there, but I don't wear all of them. So yeah. All right. Next. All right. we're going to stick with a little bit of now we're not sticking with no theme. We're going to talk about this Mortal Kombat Legends cage match. Why doesn't Warner Brothers? This is where Warner Brothers kind of fuck themselves a little bit. Warner Brothers has head over heels better animation than Disney, and it's by a long shot. And they have used the same animation style since Batman the Animated Series, and it's flawless to me because we all grew up on it. Johnny Cage, like this Mortal Kombat Legends Johnny Cage one. First of all, set in the 80s during Christmas time. Secondly, it's Johnny Cage, who is overly confident, is like a B-list, maybe even just C-list movie star at this point. And he doesn't know about his own powers yet and about what he's capable of. And to watch this movie, it was hour 20 minutes hour 20 minutes. I'm like thinking minutes. I'm like, I think it was hour 20 minutes. You're out. And to me, the animation once again was flawless. Secondly, the storyline was also very, very well done. They didn't do too much. They didn't try to do too much. They didn't even try to like give us like Mortal Kombat cameo type stuff. It was just really, really for real. Only people that you would recognize on this was Johnny Cage, of course, Raiden and Chinook. That's the only three that you really recognize. And it's kind of cool, like to not have like Liu Kang just jump out of nowhere, be like, hey, yeah, we got Liu Kang. I'm like, what the fuck we got Liu Kang for? What does that mean? Like, why we have him here? He's not like, oh, this is about Johnny Cage. Let's just keep it to Johnny Cage. And I think they did an amazing job to keep it that way. And to me, this is a perfect way to introduce these characters. Hold on, let me tell you how. You can introduce these characters for the next Mortal Kombat movie that's supposed to be coming out within the next couple years. The next Mortal Kombat movie, to me, what they should have did was that main character. They should have did a little Mortal Kombat Legends on him first. Two, this is what Marvel is doing with the Marvel Spotlight. It started off with Echo. Now we're going to have, Agatha is a Spotlight show also. And then also we got Wonder Man supposed to be coming out too as the Marvel Spotlight. Nobody knows who more Wonder Man is. Nobody knows who Agatha is. A lot of people, everybody knows who Johnny Cage is, but we don't really have, we get the background. We get multiple backgrounds of Johnny Cage. This is just another background of him figuring out his own powers, him trying to, like not knowing the world is bigger than what it actually is for him. It's just, this movie definitely spotlights his backstory, him being bullied and learning karate for the first time, and it's really just a very violent movie. It's cartoons too, so I love that Warner Brothers has definitely gone down the road of like, this is adult animation, and these people have grown up on playing Mortal Kombat, playing. Watching Batman throw people off of buildings at one point in life. Batman had a gun at one point. And we got Injustice too, where Superman punches a hole into Joker's chest after Joker killed Lois Lane and his child. Like, that's how messed up DC Comics really gets. And I'm glad I'm glad they showcased it, because we're not kids. You know what I'm saying? We aren't kids watching the show. We are grown adults that grew up on this, and with the brutality of Mortal Kombat, for sure, it doesn't really affect us. The guys that grew up in the 80s and 90s that played these games. Like, I remember when it was like a shock value, like, oh my gosh, they're doing fatalities and they're doing this and that. No, this is whatever. Is what it is. Whoopsies. Like that's the fun of it. You know what I mean? That it's violence that you can't actually do in real life. You know what I'm saying? So why not? Let's not get weird with it. You pray that people will go out there and start trying to do some more combat things. It's unfucking reasonable. So Not unreasonable, unattainable. That type of shit is unattainable. Like you don't have enough power to do shit like that. You can't throw fireballs at someone. Like you shoot a fireball at someone so you get a flamethrower, but that does not do that. But we don't do that. I feel like 90s kids, like us that were born from 80s to 90s, this shit that you just wouldn't do. You know, it's just like, why would we even try that? You know, so I'm definitely loving what I'm watching. I'm definitely loving the Warner Brothers animation. I'm loving that they're doing a lot with Mortal Kombat because that is a huge video game property. And the best adaptations right now for it is in cartoon form. If y'all haven't watched like the what is it, there was one for Zero. I think there's one for Scorpion too. Scorpion Revenge. Yep, there was one for Scorpion's Revenge, which was amazing, by the way. If you guys have not watched that, I think it was one like kind of partly about Liu Kang, but like not all the way. Like they have done an amazing job, and it's all on HBO Max. HBO Max also has Mortal Kombat Conquest. Now, Mortal Kombat Conquest, which was like a late '90s show, it used to come on. All right, so I'm gonna date myself a little bit. My fault. Sorry. So like it came on at the same time as Xena the Warrior Princess. Um, it's a space show with a bunch of females on it. I just can't remember right now. It was a space show that came on right before Jack of All Trades came on. Now that's what's his name from the Evil Dead? Fuck, Bruce Campbell. I think it was Bruce Campbell that was part of the show. He was in Jack of All Trades. And then you had Hercules, of course. I think Mortal Kombat was like in that same type of realm that it was shot the same as Xena Warrior Princess and Hercules, but it was not. Of course, it wasn't on. I think it was on TNT. I think that was on TNT at one point. It was. I don't think it was bad. It was like not brutal and things like that. It was really telling the story of Kung Lao. So you guys get a chance. It's kind of cheesy. It's a little cheesy. I ain't gonna lie to you. Now, Mortal Kombat Legacies on Max, that there was like 15, like I think the longest episode was like 15 minutes, and like you had like Michael Jai White was Jax. Goodness fucking gracious, I'm really off. Okay, he was Jax. You know what I'm saying? It was like a couple other people. I just remember him because I just like it was like weird to see him in these type of like they were supposed to do one for Street Fighter also. It was like everybody's backstory or something like that. It was actually pretty sweet. But yeah, man, I like I said, they are doing a great job of like shaping the world of Mortal Kombat. They just aren't fucking promoting this shit. It's not being promoted. Like you're not doing anything to like show people like, hey man, our animation department is actually killing it right now, as per usual. You know, there's two things that DC has over Marvel right now is the comics, and also they got them in their in the cartoon department. Like I know people love the What If series, and that's cute. It was awesome. I mean, it's a very cute thought process. But until Marvel starts pushing their objective into us, like our generation, people that grew up on this, then you're still gonna struggle to me because it feels like DC said, fuck it, we're gonna just take the handcuffs off of the PG-13 model and we're gonna give you guys straight R. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are we hampering ourselves? We're playing for our hands tied behind our backs. It feels like they don't have the freedom. Like you don't have the freedom to show that type of brutality. You don't have that freedom to have them talk a certain way. You like, when someone gets really pissed off, you're like, they're gonna curse, especially if it's a very violent world. These aren't monks we're dealing with. This is a movie star, and one of the people are demons. You know what I'm saying? It's just you watch Warner Brothers animation. It's just like they are ready. They are going loose. Even with Peacemaker, like with the live action, that was the smartest thing they could have did because Peacemaker is a very, 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 very violent individual, and you have to show the violence that he can portray. Also, with because Mark, I think sorry, I think Disney is starting to get to that point. I didn't think Echo was that violent. I think it got violent. I think it got a little like, it got a little gory, a little bit, but wasn't like how people were like, this is the bloodiest thing. I think the bloodiest one is probably going to be Daredevil or whenever Punisher comes out. Like that should be the most ruthless ones because it's actually dude getting tired, beating the hell out of people, going door to door, beating the hell out of people. That's literally Daredevil. It's literally Frank Castle on a revenge mission for his family to shoot people, as punishment. Like that's literally was Frank Castle's agenda. You know what I mean? That I'm going to punish them. That was like what? So like just like what Peacemaker said. Like I don't have a rose gallery because they're all smoked. That's just you said what? Like I think that's where I think that's Disney's next step. I think that's what people are kind of turned off on about Disney is that they're trying to be a little too family friendly, and like there's literally TV shows. There's really characters that have really violent implications, aka Wolverine, and also Deadpool. Like you cannot put PG-13 on them movies. You can't do it. Like they tried it with Wolverine, but what was Wolverine's best movie? Logan, because they took the reins off and said, you know what, we're going to make him as berserk and bloody as possible. He's going to be doing what he does. It's just who Wolverine is. Like they try to hide away all. Nah, bump that. We're not hiding anything. X-23, same deal. She's a merc. That's what she does. She goes berserk. So what I'm saying is that this is the next step for DC. But I mean, for Disney. But for the next step for DC is to make better movies. Better movies. Like it's just really where we're at right now. Like the last Suicide Squad that was made by James Gunn. It's fantastic. I love that movie. It was great, funny. It was a great storyline, and it was great, action throughout the whole thing. So I think that they are really trying to turn this corner around to being more successful with James Gunn and was it Peter Safran at the helm. So I'm excited to see what they do with them, especially with like the DC, all of DC animations have definitely killed it too. They did the Justice League Dark. Man, if you guys have not watched that yet, y'all losing it. The Apocalypse one with and Constantine's one. Oh my gosh, yo. That's how you showcase your characters. And maybe make them into adult animation. Echo, make her own TV show for five episodes. That's all she needed was 5 episodes. Now we're introduced to Echo, and now we have a new thought process on Kingpin. So yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what comic book movies and comic book media is going to be doing next. I'm fucking whoo. All right. So I started this anime called Undead Unlucky. Undead Unluck. One fucking two. The anime's weird. Okay. I would like to say this. So bro is practically a zombie that's been alive for over 200 some odd years. Like he can't die. His body is unkillable, pretty much. Like he can get his head cut off and the head will go back on. Get his arms, everything can be blown to bits and it will come back. It's the most and then the first time we see him is with this girl who is apparently, if you touch her skin, you automatically become unlucky. Like just touch her skin. But it's like the more area of her body that you touch, the more unlucky you get. It's the most interesting thing ever. The first episode is very weird. Is dude's a little creepy, little rapey. I ain't gonna lie to you. He's a little creepy, man. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna watch this because it just doesn't really appeal. Like the show doesn't really do it for me, man. I don't know. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna keep trying. I'm like, it's all right. The action's pretty good. Now they're trying to join this little society of people that looks like some weird secret society type deal. I'm just sitting there watching, like, I don't know. It could be better. It could be not. I don't know. So we're definitely gonna try to stick with it for a little while, man. I promise we're going to stick with it, see what happens. But that's so far. I've only been through the first 2 episodes. That's probably what the problem is. It's only the first 2 episodes. I haven't let it build up yet. I will. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give it a chance. It gets a 10 episode chance. All right, we're gonna do that. All right, I just wanted to do a quick anime minute, and that was it. Literally. All right, lastly, we're going to be talking about Monarch Legacy of Monsters. I know that this is supposed to be a kaiju show. I understand it. I know we're supposed to be talking about Godzilla. But I would like to say this, that the background info that we barely get most of the time for Godzilla, the background info that we barely get for King Kong, you know what I'm saying? Like, we never get like the people on the ground's full story. We've never gotten that before. That's never happened. Anybody that tells you that's happened, they're liars. Okay, it's never happened. We never got background info of how humans reacted to Godzilla for the first time. We never got that. First of all, the cool thing about it is that they finally explained what Godzilla's purpose is. Like, most of the time, these movies are just like, he's a big monster, this is a big monster, they're fighting against each other, and there's only, he has to win, or it's always Godzilla on the top. We don't know why, though. This is the first time to me that it was actually explained properly what Godzilla's plan was. Like, they tried to make him into a kaiju that was a monster in the Godzilla 2000, which is BS. You don't do that. That's not what Godzilla's actual purpose ever was. Like, when they had the TV show, had the cartoons, once again, they never explained why Godzilla was doing what he was doing, why they were able to control Godzilla to come out and fight like Mothra or Megalozilla, whatever, fucking the metal one. You know what I mean? Like, all that. We were never explained that. Just all of a sudden, we got this monster that was created from nuclear waste, and now he's fighting against all these other people. Like, he's able to reel in radiation. Why? We finally understand that, like, he's kind of like the police of the other realm, or wherever it is that he comes from. He's actually kind of like the dude. It's kind of like the bouncer. Like, he gets these people out, he gets those monsters from coming onto this realm. Pretty much, that's his job, which is kind of cool. That's a pretty sweet like deal. Like, you got this big ass monster that's pretty much unbeatable, and like, we really only get to see him fight a couple times in this show, and it was great fights. We get to see a kaiju fight. Oh my gosh, what? And then the final episode, the final moment of the show is amazing. The final moment sets up a movie. That's pretty much what they're doing. And so when I say this, I'm like, Monarch, the King of Monsters, the Legacy of Monsters. I think this was a great job of like explaining Godzilla, explaining the purpose of why humans shouldn't actually be afraid of him, why humans should actually be okay with Godzilla, should be like, oh, he's here for us, because that's how the cartoons were. They used to can summon him, but like, yeah, Godzilla, let's get him, and then you come out and start like murking everybody, then go back into the water. Okay, cool. That's literally the cartoon show. If y'all haven't watched it, definitely go check it out. They try to make him into this big monster kaiju, and that's not what he is. He was a fighter. He protected Earth. Pretty much, he protected humanity, and that's what's so cool about God. That's why I was always a big fan of Godzilla. I was a fan of King Kong too, but Godzilla was awesome. The problem is that Kong to me was a American creation, and they wanted to make him into really a bad guy or whatever. If she's a she, I don't fucking know. Apparently, Godzilla lays fucking eggs, so he's probably it might be a she also. But King Kong was already seen as a monster from the 40s because he climbed the Empire State Building. They had him climb the Empire State Building and then shoot him off of that. You know what I'm saying? Like it was, they already had established Kong is evil. Godzilla possibly is evil slash like he's still going to destroy a city, but at the same time he's protecting humanity. To me, Monarch did an amazing job at separating why he's a good guy, separating why humans are the worst, from pretty much. Like, damn, man, this show is they did an amazing job at like the backstories of the families like the Randas and Lee Shaw. I like that they had Kurt Russell and his son Wyatt Russell pretty much playing like the different eras and things like that, and also explaining how pretty much time works inside of the other realm. You know what I'm saying? Like it's man, they did their thing with this show. Apple TV doesn't really miss a lot. Like I know a lot of people. I love the Invasion. I wanted to watch the next season. Like the ending to the first season of Invasion, kind of like, but Apple TV overall, Mythic Quest, you know what I'm saying? Great comedy. Of course, the morning show, love that show. Severance. You have so many shows on there. Blackbird, which was a limited series. You know what I mean? Taron Egerton and was it Paul Hauser? Paul Hauser. I'm gonna fuck his last name up. But I know his middle name is Hauser. Paul Hauser, whatever his last name is. Great show. Great show. I literally just listened to him on Michael Rosenbaum episode. Michael Rosenbaum podcast. Damn. But yeah, like I said, man, if you guys haven't, go check it. Like we literally just watched the finale. I literally just watched the finale last night. It's worth it. It's worth your time. It's worth the watch. It's worth it, all of it. The sun might piss you off a little bit of Randas, but that's about it. That might be the only thing that kind of like, oh, you know, I want to piss you. I'm warning y'all now. That's the only thing that kind of like irritated the fuck out of me. He was very irritating to me. I can understand you're pissed off about, you know, certain family situations, but like, damn, dude, like you come on, bro. Let's get with the program. We need to try to find Godzilla. Let's get this, come on. So and also, you know, like, and also lastly, they showed the implication of Godzilla hitting a city or anything like that. Like they never really show like ground level the implications, the PTSD, the upwardness and like security around a possible Godzilla event. You know what I'm saying? Like they've never shown that before, ground level wise. And for them to take 10 episodes to like really flesh that whole story out, I'm floored. I think it would knock that out of the park to me. So yeah, I definitely recommend that show for sure if you guys ever get a chance. So with that, we're gonna call it a show. Hopefully it sounds good because it's like the thing's been really unstable this whole time. It's never done this before. So I'm hoping that the sound isn't bad because I'm gonna be pissed if it is. Yeah, so with that, where you can find the Cruising Podcast is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Patreon, YouTube, and anywhere you can find your podcast needs. That's where you can find the Cruising Podcast. Also, where you can find the latest updates of the show is on Instagram at Cruising Podcast, also on Twitter at Nighttown Finest. And please leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Also, please leave a like and subscribe on YouTube. Check out the TikTok. We're doing big things on there. Big things are coming, baby. Big things pop. Oh, sorry. And then also please go check out the Instagram. Like I said, you can please follow on there if you want to. Baby, we almost at 800. What? Okay, and there was one more thing. Spotify, yeah, let me know on Spotify how you're doing, and please leave a 5-star review on Spotify. That'll be awesome. I'll love you forever for it. So with that, I'd like to say thank you so much for listening. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. I'll catch you guys later. Oh, yes, Patreon episode. There's going to be one tomorrow. My bad. There wasn't one this weekend. That's on me. Take full blame. We're talking about the Eagles. Okay. And I need to be like a little Libra about that. So, yeah, definitely going to be talking possibly the Eagles tomorrow on Patreon. So, with that, I'd like to say, love all of you. Don't do anything I want to do. Catch you guys later. Deuces.